All right, so I'm long here, right, off of this bullish breaker, that blue zone, that top premium wick. I want to see it stay in the upper half of that zone, right? That's my risk to reward. Stop loss literally right below that bullish breaker, aka premium, sorry, discount wick, right? Risking about 17 points.
your business to other people to mind. If
I'm about to
if
see
you
if I'm finna
let other
catch this
people
long
mind
right
your
here real quick.
business,
Hold on.
are you
Okay.
minding your
Hang
business?
on.
No,
I'm gonna look. I'm
somebody
gonna
else is.
just.
All right, so you see here, I just scaled into four more contracts. Now I bring my stop loss lower, right? Now I'm sorry, I bring my stop loss higher. So now my stop loss is literally right below that change in the state, which is equilibrium, right, of that bullish breaker. Remember, because I don't want to see it go in the lower half no more because it already created a change in the state and the fair value gap outside of that range. All right, so I just sold some right there, and there we go, full TP.
You giving me anxiety talking about this that I
I
done
want
got
to
out
see
too
your
early. I
screen.
done got out too early. Look at this shit. Hold on right quick. So
I just want to see your screen. Nothing major.
damn dog, you fucking me up.
Okay, blame me then. Fuck it. I'll be the blame. I'm
Hold
my
on.
mama. I will be the blame. If you feel like I'm the reason, you're blame me. Swear to God.
Hey, I got my money back though. That would matter. I got my money back off
Mama.
that loss.
All that matters.
Hold on right quick. Let me go back. All right. So this is my trade recap. All right. Okay, so obviously you see the market literally open and went immediately down, right? But look where we went down to. We went down, sweeping out all of these lows, right, into this blue zone down here. Do you remember what I told you this blue zone was?
That's the discount. It's discounted area.
Yeah, discount daily wick,
Yeah.
right? Bam. Remember what I said? Look, you want when it hits certain PD arrays, key levels, you want to see it stay in the upper half. So
Mm-hmm.
look at it, right? So first of all, it come into it, right? It comes, it don't have the willingness to get to the first quadrant of this zone, right? Remember, I said you want to see it stay at least all in the equilibrium range. That's all valid. But look what's happening, right? It swept out and then it stopped showing displacement lower and then it showed lack of displacement and it started going up. So this is where we created SMT with ES and crew, right? This is where it came up, retested. This is where we took our long, right here, right? Came down. Look how I respected the change in the state, the OB's wick, perfectly. I should have put my stop loss below this order block instead of leaving it. So I got in here. Instead of leaving it here, I should have left it below this change in the state because this is the change in the state coupled with the invert that's supposed to take us higher. And as you see how it actually respected the fair value gap coupled with the inverse. You see how perfectly it's
Hey,
coupled
look at that purple zone, that purple box you got on the change in the state.
here.
No, yop, right there. That's nasty.
You see how nasty that is. You see how he
That's
respected it.
nasty.
So that's why once it got above up here, that's why I went long. And if you see on the macro chart, you see this is where I went long right here, and I got stopped out because I have my stop loss below the inverse instead of having it at the low of the order block that created a move up.
Mm.
So that's my mistake. And you see here, and then what happened? We got a nice expansion up higher, and then I got in off of the breaker, right? I could
Okay,
I
question.
go ahead.
Question. Is would this be a good entry right here? Not saying I
No,
would do that,
no,
but
no,
listen.
no.
No, I'm talking about right. You see where
Right
it
now?
got that. No, I'm not talking about
Oh,
up
down
there.
here.
Zoom back in. You see where you got that at, yeah, where you got that green at. You see where it's a green candlestick, then a red candlestick, then it go back up green.
Remember, this is where you
It's that
jump. This is where you jumped in. Remember, you was like you're still in this play right here, right?
yeah, right there. That's what I'm saying. Would that be a good entry if you was to get in right there on that
Remember,
red
this
candlestick?
is a perfect entry because this is the 5 minute. This is the 5 minute change in the state right here. And then you got the then you got the 5 minute. If you go to 5 minute, this is a 5 minute fair value gap. It just looked like that because it's on the 1 minute, but this is actually a 5 minute fair value gap. So remember, you want to see it. Remember how I said the best fair value gaps. What is it going to do? It's going to stay in the upper part. Look how perfectly it just touched it, boop, and got up out of there. Right? So you were still in that play. You didn't get stopped out at the low like me, because you had your stop loss at the low.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I have my stop loss at the low of this bearish fair value gap. I mean, this
Fair value
inverse,
gap,
the
yeah.
inverse. Because that's just how I do it. Anyways, so yes, this will be a perfect play right here, because it touched it. It already did everything. Now my stop loss could either be below the fair value gap or below this zone here. Look, it would have been perfect. But then this is where I got in at. Remember my favorite play, the bullish breaker, right? Which
Yeah,
is
go over a breaker real quick. Show me what the breaker is.
okay. Look,
Show me what that is.
it's a low, high, lower low into a key level. Also, it's sweeping out a sell side. See what I'm saying? So you got the low high, lower low, and sweeping out a sell side, right? And then it sweeps into a key level, right? And then you see the higher high right here. You see how it closed right here. See how it closed right here? Then it's the retest. Boom. That was my long right here. Boom. And I got out at the 8:30 open right here at the high. And you see it's still running. Because look, now what we have another Buddhist breaker, right? Because remember, the buy side is up here. So look, same thing, bullish breaker again. So we got a low, high. See it?
Lower
low,
low,
high,
high,
lower low, higher high. So once it closed, same thing. Boom. So now let me draw it out. Because remember, the bullish breaker is the last bullish candle, right? So you see how all the candles are literally like right here. So I'm going to just draw this bullish candle because this is the bullish candle with the highest wick. So I'm going to get that and I'm going to notate it. Bullish breaker. And then I'm going to extend that bit. So you see how we got to close? You see how it closed? But look at the retest. Remember what I said? You want to see it stay in the upper half, right? So it closed, but then what happened? It went all the way down to the lower half.
So it's disrespecting. That's not a good move.
Not a good look. That's why you see how it came back up, right? But look what's happening now.
Yeah, it's consolidating.
That's not what you don't want to see. Consolidations in a breaker. Hell no. The moment you see that bitch come in the lower half, it's a no-go. So the same thing like my play. I got in at equilibrium. My stop loss was literally at the low of the breaker. Right? So the moment you see that bitch leave it, you want to see it stay here. You want to see it stay here in the upper half. The moment you see a body close in the lower half, you might as well just get the fuck out. Because it can still pop up, but then still disrespect it.